gentlemen, this is IWA War Room. I am here with the mighty. Hello, mighty. Yep, I'm doing pretty well, and we have three shows to review because we have the Survivor Series show that we're going to review that we haven't yet, and we're going to go over the Katie Eliminator. What would you have to say before we actually go over them? What would you have to say about all three shows if you had to say? Hell yes. Hell yes, agreed. We got big things coming. We got the draft on the 28th. And we got the Highway to Heaven. Do you want to speak on Highway to Heaven before we go over these shows so people know what's up? Both the nights, though, if you can. Okay. Most indeed. So what he's saying, everybody, there'll be two women, two men from each brand is what we're hoping for. But if we do not get that, I think what your meaning is we'll just have IWA people join in if nobody else joins it, basically. Okay. And this will be kind of like how we had the open contract matches at Wrestle Madness. Will we be seeing everybody be staying with IWA after this, or will it be like a one night off unless they win type thing? Okay, good to know. You hear that, everybody? And the draft we have coming up on June 28th of this month. And the people, I tried. Do you want to give the people like what they should expect from this? Like, give them the grimy, gritty, dirty. And so, say that we do have the tag team champions get drafted. What if they get drafted to separate shows? Will they be able to appear on the shows together, or will that be a thing like they have to wait till pay per view? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so basically they are still allowed to beat, but it would just be like they can only compete on their said show unless it's like the tag titles on the line. Okay, okay, and that yes, that two. There's two GMs for each brand, and we each have a tag team coordinator for each brand. We each have a commissioner for each brand, and we each have a women's coordinator per se. Okay, so me and B more will have to collaborate since you put me and Alfonso in charge of the ladies. And after this call or during this call, I'm just saying right now, I'm getting blown up on my phone for that invitational you set out. It looks like there's two people from GPW. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say their names. And I need you to check out SPW when you can. I just saw some people interested in joining and said thing, but I'm not going to say who it was. But right there, ladies. No, go for it. Oh, so this will be if we get more than what we're expecting. Okay. So TLC will also be involved, or is it just ladder? Okay, for sure. Okay. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And there's been a lot of developments as of late, like recently discovered 2 years as legacy champion. We have Leo Blade that is with his reign for 2 years. 2 years. Oh my god. Oh my god. Before he was the legacy champion, he was the US champion, peer US champion that got changed into the legacy title, and he never technically lost it, but we brought back the US title. Yes, and speaking of his next up and coming defense, right before the draft, we will have the Leo Blade Invitational, and who knows what the other matches will be. That remains to be seen. But the one match we know that's going to happen is the first ever steel cage Iron Man match in a triple threat between him, VJ, and Big Bad Baby Daddy. Big Bad Baby Daddy is the one to have beat him recently in his own matchup, and that's really rare. But this also makes you wonder, if he keeps running through people in singles, maybe it does need to be a triple threat or an eight man if anybody has a chance to beat him. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to underestimate people, but I think you can see what I'm saying. All he's been having is mainly singles, but maybe this time around, maybe we're going to see more multi person matches, wouldn't you think? At Wrestle Madness. At Wrestle Madness. Oh, oh, I thought it was Wrestle Madness, though. I thought he had a triple threat there, too. I thought it was because you just reminded me. I thought that was at Wrestle Madness because remember, I we had a 2 night show. and such. Hmm. I thought it was either that or like you just made me remind that he did have that triple threat though. It could have been there or like at another show, but regardless, he has competed in it before. But this scenario is different than like what you had it in before because if I recall, it was like a almost like a false count, like not false count anywhere, but it's like a triple threat that could go. You're trapped in. You're not just trapped in the ring, you know. But now in this scenario, they are trapped in the ring. Oh, oh, really? Right there. I He's already competed and won in singles. And speaking of men that's going to be in that match, here's the Big Bad Baby Daddy. Big Bad Baby Daddy, we are live right now and we are being recorded going over the shows of IWA. And we were just talking about your matchup coming up against Leo at the Leo Blade Invitational. But and I think this is another thing to point out, Mighty. I think you might be agreeing with this though. If somebody does happen to beat Leo, they did it in a triple threat and not a singles, which he's only competed like we already talked about. He's competed in a triple threat before, but the fact is nobody's been able to beat Leo when the time is necessary. But that could change if you notice. Like you know what I mean? But the title is not on the line. To be clear, that's what I was meaning. Like when the time is right. Yeah. Okay. 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 Most indeed. And that will be the main event for the Leo Blade Invitational as far as we know. We don't know the other matches, so those are going to be surprise. But after we have just talked about that, I think it's fitting that we go on to the show called Survivor Series. And Mike, I want to start with you. With Before we go through the matches, how were you feeling about this event? Because you were involved in it, which we shall get to. Oh my god. Well, we'll talk about them when we get there, but yeah. IWA Survivor Series. Yes, yeah. But okay, Ali, without giving away the whole match, because when we get there, we'll get there. I do want to save it for last. But what were your feelings on the matchup? Because you were involved. Uh, let's wait before we reveal the other ones because I do want to save that for the main event. I really mainly wanted your thoughts. And how do you feel after the matchup? Were you injured like my? Do you have a back issue after that match, or okay? Okay, thank you for that. Now to start off the show, this was a great opener. Amen. Artem, McGill, Eli, Novak, the third. I'm just kidding. Forget the third part. Amen. Took on Nightmare Dex Michaels. And this was a great opener. And Nightmare Dex Michaels made his debut, sending shockwaves through the IWA universe. In the end, though, Amen walked out victorious, but we will not take away what Dex Michaels did because we will be talking about him later in the other cards. But I thought this match was fantastic. Congrats to Amen. Mighty, do you want to speak on this first matchup? Well said. Well said. Ali, Big Bad Baby Daddy, did you watch this matchup? Oh, mm-hmm. He basically, if we were actually talking about this the other day, and the only way Jack won, not to take away from Jack, he won with the Jack rap. Remember that, Mighty? Remember? Mm-hmm. Makes you wonder. Do you think he would have won if he would have done that? Do you think that was his only way of winning? Ooh, ooh. You funny you say because this whole time we were talking about him, I just have to say, if I wanted somebody to be a world champion in IWA, I would love to see Amen with some world gold or even just a belt in general because the man is a worker, the man is a talent, and he proves it. No, go on. Mhm. He has like he's had title matches. No, no, yeah, yeah. I'm saying he's had title matches in general, but not world title. Yeah, exactly. Oh, there's another sneaky fucker. There's another sneaky guy. And yeah, yeah. Well said, well said. And speaking of champions, here is the legacy champion of 2 years, Mr. Leo Blade, the GOAT, the god of E-Feds. Welcome, sir. We are live, and wherever he may be. Oh my God. So, Leo, we are live right now with War Room, and we will be getting to a match later that you were involved in. But funny that you actually popped up. You know what we were talking about? A future scenario. Amen versus you. Mm. Yeah, yeah. We literally just talked about a match that he was in. He kicked off the show in this match. No, no, we're going over a show which he literally won the kickoff match. And you were actually a part of this show that in the main event, but we'll get to that later when time comes. But he took on the newcomer Dex Michaels and he won. Yeah. Leo's like, wait, what? In the future, but you do got an obstacle right now in a sense because you have Big Bad Baby Daddy and VJ coming up. Okay. Okay. Since you are here, Leo, we're gonna go on to the second match, and if you've seen it, you can talk about it. But this is called the Survivor Series show, and your match is in the main event, which we'll get to. So wait for that. You'll have your time to speak on that. But this second matchup of that night was for the IWA Prestige Women's World Championship. Mona C versus Quinn Kushida versus the champion Mother Russia, where Mother Russia retained in no easy feat in this matchup against two premier athletes of Mona C and Quinn Kushida. I thought it was a banger of a matchup. Mighty, we'll start with you for this one. Give us your thoughts. Okay, well said. Yeah, yeah. Most indeed. And welcome. Mr. Wildman is here to join us and help us review the show. Wildman, we are live right now with War Room, and you are here, and we can't wait to see until you come back. But how are you, sir? Before I go on to them to get their thoughts. Well, we all care for you here. Yeah. Oh my god. No. Damn. Well, if Leo, Wildman, do you remember? Oh, yep. That's what I was gonna bring up. That's what I was gonna bring up. Damn. Oh boy. Didn't his kids go to you? Didn't his kids go to you, Wildman? Didn't they go to you willingly? Oh. Oh. God dang. But, well, oh boy. Okay. Well, gentlemen, thank you for both of y'all's words. They're very strong. Feel like we're about to have a fight over here in the studio. But Ali, speaking back on the triple threat though, between the three ladies, Mona C, Quinn Kushida, and the champion Mother Russia, where Mother Russia retained. Can you give me your thoughts? Yeah. You know from personal experience with them Russians, you've talked about your dealings with them in the past, and I'm kind of interested to hear what Leo, you are very familiar with Quinn Kushida as of late and have been for some time. How do you think she fared in this matchup against Mona C and Mother Russia? Yeah, well said, well said. Leo, he asked if Athena was retired. Those are Well said. A lot of ideas developing as always. The minds are always cooking, as they say. The grind never stops, as they say. Yeah. And as we stay tuned for what happens with that, we shall move on to the next match. Wow, man, I don't know if you caught this show, but I know you're familiar with the competitors in this match. At least I think one of them particularly. And this was a fatal four-way. It was a champion versus champion versus champion versus champion matchup. If you guys know which one I'm talking about, it's Big Lou versus KD versus Tony Rose versus MG. And the man that won that matchup was KD. But it was no easy feat. You had four champions go in there trying to prove why they are the champion and who is the best champion. And I think the best champion walked out. It was no easy feat though. But Wildman, you're familiar with Big Lou because he's one of your brethren. Oh, oh. Well, because said person faced him later in the night. So, yes. Yeah, but he faced him the same night on this show, though. That was the person. He faced him that same night. Oh! Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. But no, I see what you mean now. But yeah. Oh? So you love MG. I'm just kidding. Waiting for him to bust up in here in this chat, be like, "Yo, what's up? Oh, perfect timing." Oh, okay. Well, Leo, you are a champion yourself. How did you feel about these four champions facing off and KD walking out victorious? Leo, KD, US. Mm. Well, well said. Mighty, since Leo can't answer the question right now, do you mind talking about this matchup? Mm, yeah. Indeed. Exactly. Well said. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yep. Hmm. And yep. Yep. Yeah, yeah. It that seems to be a resurgence with a few titles, like, we recently brought back the Do or Die not too long ago too, like mhm. Yes, he does. Yeah, and Leo made definitely changed the standard, no pun intended, with that US title win, and he never technically lost the title because as we stated before, it became the legacy title after that, practically. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Have a good day, brother. Thank you, Wild Man, for coming on. Prayers and love to the man Alfonso Allen and what he's going through. Prayers to him. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Most indeed. Um, Ali, are you Big Bad Baby Daddy? Are you still with us? Eh. uh, but what are your thoughts on this four-way champions of champions matchup, which it featured Big Lou, Katie, Tony Rose, and MG, where Katie walked out victorious? Guaranteed, whatever name they choose, it will be a banger. Yeah. America, he says. Said, yeah. Do him behind closed doors. They would not do it to his face. They would do it behind closed doors. They'd be like, "I sued this man. Who sued me?" The guy over here hiding his face. Most indeed. Most indeed. And that and Leo, are you still with us? Okay, there he is. So Leo, this next match that we have coming up here that happened, it was for the IWA Women's Tag Team Championships. The Daughters of Decay, Violet Grimm and Kendra Grimm versus Kylie Alexa Page and Kinsey Page versus Chanel Baltimore and Jackie Tyson's the champion. And this was no easy task. The champions went in there with two tough teams, and well, they walked away battered and beaten, but not with the gold as Daughters of Decay walked out the champions. What do you guys say about it? Because I know you are familiar with, I would say, at least two of the teams out of the three. Yes, indeed. Mighty, do you want to speak on this matchup? Because the IWA Women's Division has been popping hella for a while now. No, I think you're right. I think you're right because Bad and Bougie beat them for it, if I recall. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like a 1-1 situation. They have 1-1. Mhm, right there. What about this? Say that before this new team comes in and face them, what if we do have that third trilogy matchup, and that will determine who will go on to face the ladies that the publicist has coming in, if that's a suggestion. So, okay. 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 So we basically have to wait on that until we can see anything else, basically. Okay. All said. Yes. Most indeed. Oh yeah. Women's tag teams continue to grow. Congrats to the Daughters of Decay. And now we come to the main event of the night. We already talked about these two competitors earlier. It was a last man standing for the King of eFed's championship as KD took on the champion MG and a champion for champion versus champion, but it was for not KD's belt, but it was for MG's belt. And in the end, it was a war. It was a match that probably stole the show to some. And in the end, KD walked out with two victories that night, taking out MG, winning the King of eFed's championship. And it was a banger. Mighty, I want you to speak on this first. Yes. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Most indeed. Most indeed. Winning two matches in one night, like you said, walking away with two belts. Big Fat Baby Daddy. What do you got to say on this? Oh, yeah. That's kind of, I don't know if he's doing that because he's going to teach here. I just don't know. He does it all the time, Greg. Huh? He does that all the time. Oh, oh, yeah. We do. And we will be speaking about Mike Howard on the next two shows, and you guys both know why we will be talking about him. But I do see what you're saying there. Yeah, most indeed. Yes, well said. And Big Bad Baby Daddy, I'm actually gonna have you speak next because I want Chris to speak last on this before certain reasons. But now we are here at the time of the main event, which you both were involved in. I'm going to save the winner for last, and no offense, Big Baby Daddy, I'm going to start with you, who did not win the match, but it was a Survivor Series matchup. Team Frank Ortiz with Frank Ortiz, with the Mighty, Buster Anderson, and Blade versus Team Leo Blade with Leo Blade, with you, Big Bad Baby Daddy, Chambers, and Daryl Williams in an 8-man Survivor Series match. And this was the longest matchup of the night, I would have to say. And this was a hell of a contest. It was very intense from start to finish. And Big Bad Baby Daddy, you being involved in this match, do you want to speak on what you're talking about earlier? How two of y'all got viciously martyred, per se, attacked? Because I do want to say though, Team Frank Ortiz did win, but I do want to say that. Uh, do, before Mighty does speak on this, I do have a question regarding what Mighty brought up earlier before he gets to speaking. Did you seeing him on the opposite team put a shock to y'all? On the other team and not your guys, because you guys are you talked about you got all four of you are former world champions, but Mighty, it seemed like he was teaming up with the new guys per se. Do you think that threw you guys off in a sense? But did it catch you off guard? Is what my main question was. My main question: did it catch you guys off guard? Okay. Yeah. 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 Well, and speaking of that, since we are taking the floor to him, Mighty, you were part of the winning team in that matchup. Are you ready to speak on this matchup and what to Ali just stated? Oh God. Okay. And how do you respond to the fact that Leo said he did not even think about calling you for his team? So, I believe we had this talk before, and he stated, and I quote, "He never thought to call you, but you think that was a mind game thing, maybe?" Okay. But so to be clear though, so he did you get announced before Chambers as you bring up? Because I'm like, the captains pick the teams, correct? Okay. Mhm. Buster and Frank were not in as much as you two. And you guys got Daryl out at first, was the first. Yes? Yes, you did? Okay. Well said. Well said, and this is true, and you gotta be able to outsmart your opponents, and clearly that night, Team Frank Ortiz was just one step ahead of their opponents, and like you even stated, like the reason I asked Ollie that question, you even stated earlier, I think before he got on a little bit, or when he was here the first, you said that it could threw them off that you were on that team. How did it feel to team up with guys that would be considered newbies of the company? Oh, yes. I did. Yet Frank Ortiz and Blade are both gone from the company, and well, that will be all shown why in due time. But yes, they left the company, and basically, what Mighty is saying, the only person that carried that team on that team on his team is still around, but Buster was not in the matches long enough. But Buster has a pin over our U.S. champion. Yes, I, so I get as the old saying goes, shit happens, as they say, and that was the Survivor Series show. Now we can officially move on to a show that was labeled the KD King Dominator Eliminator, and this was for round one. But there were also non-tournament matches, and I think it will be fitting if we start with the non-tournament matches first. And of that show, the first one I have listed was for the IWA Queen of E-Feds Championship, which was vacant, and it was between Sonia, not Sonia Ortiz, but Sonia versus Mona C versus Teresa versus Raven Grimm. Four ladies went out there to become the Queen of E-Feds champion, and they all wanted it. You could see that, the heart, the determination. And in the end, the champion that walked out was Sonya. She became the champ. Mighty, do you mind speaking on this? Yes. Oh, yes, most definitely not. Well said. Well said. And Big Bad Baby Daddy, what would you have to say on this Queen of Defense Championship matchup? You did. So when you say you put your finger on it, did you put your finger in it? Was she the pickle girl? Was she the pickle girl? Oh. He's like, I don't want to get in trouble. But your feelings on the match though, Mr. Big Bad Baby Daddy though. Well said. Well said. And now this next one, I think we're all gonna. There's gonna be a lot of discussion on this one because now listen to this closely. It was Leo Blade versus Rusty Steel. May I mind you, Leo has not won a match in some time. That Survivor Series he needed to win. Rusty is no easy feat, but him and Rusty went to war. It was a banger. But in the end, Leo Blade got his first pin and win in some time. Mighty, what do you got to say about this? Like, as I just stated, this was his first win in some time, as we've stated. Yes, well said. Understood. Well said. Very true. Well said. And Big Bad Baby Daddy, you were the one to beat Leo not too long ago, but he's getting this win again. And I know you're familiar with Rusty. What would you have to say about this whole scenario? Well said. Well said, Big Bad Baby Daddy. Thank you for your strong words, and stay tuned, everybody, for the Leo Blade Invitational coming up soon in the future. And that moves us on to our next matchup, which was a ladies' tag match. Mercedes Martinez and Diana Martinez versus Kinsey Page and Kylie Page. Kylie Alexa Page, sorry. With with the Martinez winning, and I thought this was a very great tag contest. Mighty, do you want to tell us about the Martinez and the Pages going at it in this matchup? Very great matchup. Mm, okay, okay, okay. So right there, Martinez making their claim, and they dominated the matchup. But the Pages, they are also very impressive as well. Do you think this just kind of like solidifies who they are as a team? Oh, Martinez. The Martinez is yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah. That. Okay. Yeah. Well, right there, and we did hear from Leo that Athena, he's a wild man. Wait and see the Leo Blade Invitational. So right there, and maybe we're gonna see that's where we're gonna see the Daughters of Decay put up their titles against the Martinez sisters. I guess they were meant to be seen. Yeah, and Big Bad Baby Daddy. What do you have to say about this tag match between the Page sisters and the Martinez sisters? Oh my god. Well, this just went off there. But anyways, we are gonna stick with you first to talk on this next match, Big Bad Baby Daddy, because I know you're familiar with all three participants in this triple threat. It was James Smith versus CB Money versus the Govna, George Stubbs. All three men went out there to go prove a point and showcase themselves, and it could have gone either way. But in the end, it was James Smith walking out victorious. Big Bad Baby Daddy, what do you got to say on this? Yeah. Ah, oh, good lord. Well, I'm not seeing anybody do it in E-Feds, but when you said Magic Man, all I thought of was when David Arquette was in a backyard wrestling his like return match, and then he came out like the Magic Man. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about from the "You Cannot Kill David Arquette" documentary. But Mighty, do you want to speak on this triple threat match that went down? And if I recall, this is what led to what would happen on the next show because the winner of these two triple threats went on to go be in the tournament technically. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Well, clearly, the only time we've ever seen them was from certain individuals, and it's made them dark individuals that are evil. So is he almost channeling maybe he was hanging out with Sir Scott Ryan, who's been going through his like little phases. Who knows? You know? I mean, yeah. I fully agree with that. I feel like they all are going to be holding gold one day, and who knows? They all could be holding gold at the same time, and then right there, because we're moving towards the future of IWA. You know what I mean? And with the future being so bright as it is, and with how much people we have coming in, right there, the future is bright. Yes. Hey, even the littlest of time. A big family affair. Well, it is. Yeah. Ali has a lot of heroines from the past. Well, well said. Well said. Hey, who knows, right? Like, we never know. Like, if anything could happen in IWA, and I'm excited to see where all these like questions will be revealed in due time. And we do have to move on to the next contest that we have set up that also led to another tournament qualifier. And it was between John Ewing, Ricky Bays, and Flash. By the way, go follow the Only Flash page at OF. And it was a triple threat. Yep, 3.99 shipping and handling. Anyways. Oh, free 99. Okay. You heard it from right here. Yeah. Go subscribe, everybody. It's that spicy content. Anyways, it was a triple threat match between these oh my god. It was Ricky Bays walking out victorious, but all three men had a great chance of winning it. Ricky Bays walked out victorious, showing what he's all about, and I can't wait to see what this man does more going forward in IWA. Big Bad Baby Daddy, we'll start with you on this. John Ewing, Ricky Bays in the Flash. Ricky Bays walking out victorious. Okay. No, you're all good. I appreciate your honesty. Mighty, do you want to speak on this one? You ran it. You. Oh my god. Well, this was the qualified for the tournament. Like I said, we're going for the non. Yeah, yeah. So we're going through the non-tournament matches of the first round. Then we're gonna get to the tournament matches. Yeah, 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 yeah. Mm. Most Most indeed. I love it, and I love that that's happening. We've This whole show was pretty shocking. I think you can agree because of what we're going to talk about next. Because you and I were on the archives and we talked about this with this whole next. Like it wasn't really controversy. It was more like a shock and awe factor. Because right after that triple threat, I am going to start with you, Mighty. It was a fatal four way for the Prestige World Championship, and it was a fatal four way between Harnage Grim, Brick Savage, Jack Graves, the returning Jack Graves, man, mind you, and the champion Dime Bag Dan. Dimebag Dan recently won this in a crossover against Eddie Walker on SPW. But when he came in, he had a very great chance of winning. All four men could have been the champion. But in the end, it was Harnage Grim walking out victorious. What do you guys say about that? Okay. And I will be getting your thoughts when we get to the main event of this show, but then we're going to go to the tournament matches of round one. But Big Bad Baby Daddy, what are you going to say about this Fatal Four Way? This was the IWA Prestige World Championship held by Dimebag Dan. Yes, and Dimebag Dan was the champion walking in, but then Harnage Grim walked out the champion. Well, well, you're actually going to be interested with this development if you didn't catch it because right after that fatal four way, Mighty, I'm going to start with you, of course, and it was for the IWA Prestige World Championship. Chambers cashed in his briefcase, and he took on the champion Harnage Grim, and Harnage Grim retained the gold. What do you got to say about that, Mighty? Mighty, you. Yep. Got too big for his britches, and then he lost, but yeah. Well, yeah, but when you say, like, he looked for an easy test, that almost seems like he might have thought, "Hey, this could be easy." Yeah. Yeah, and he held on to that briefcase for a good period, too. That is true. That is really true. Yeah, he lost one briefcase, but he still had another. Mm. That is true, and that remains to be seen. I'm excited to see the development with that and Big Bad Baby Daddy hearing what happened, Harnish becoming the world champion, but then defending it successfully against Chambers Cash In on the same night. What do you guys say about that? Wow. So but Chambers has a chance to do that with this other open contract briefcase if he does. Well, that is the big question. That is the big question. You know what I would love to see? Oh? I feel like I know what you're referring to, and I feel like the other person in our call right now can actually know who you're referring to if that's who you are referring to. Okay. Okay. Well said. Well, I guess that depends on who is the man that beats Leo. We still got to see who that will be with our upcoming match and the Leo Blade Invitational, as we know of. As we just found out, we can't do a steel cage, so it's probably going to be changed to a Hell in a Cell. So that will be interesting to see. And I do want to ask something for a future thing where Carnage and KD both won two matches in one night. I would love to just see them facing a non-title champion versus champion. I feel like that would be interesting one day. Okay. Okay. Cool. 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 Okay. IWA is known for its unpredictability, so Anything could happen there, and heck yeah, now we finally make it to the tournament matches for round one. And in the first round matchup of the tournament for the first matchup was Severus Crowley versus the King of Chaos, Wes Grimm. And I would have loved to see either one move on, and both men put on a stellar matchup. Wes Grimm advanced to the second round. Big Bad Baby Daddy, what are you going to say about this contest? This was the first round matchup in the KD Eliminator Tournament. The first round matchup. These are the first round matchups. And the first match was Severus Crowley versus the King of Chaos, Wes Grimm. Wes Grimm advanced. Well said. Short and simple. Mighty, what do you guys say about this matchup? Hmm. Yeah. Well said. Well said. Thank you for that, sir. And that led us on. He was. We'll talk about him again later when we get to the next set of rounds. But this next first round matchup was between Big Bad Baby Daddy. Are you still with us? So, so the next matchup in the first round, it was Amen versus Buster Anderson. Now, this was definitely a competitive contest, very competitive. And in the end, it was Buster Anderson defeating Amen. Big Bad Baby Daddy, what do you got to say about that? Well, Mighty, since you were just stating right before I went to Big Bad Baby Daddy, you said they were beating the shit out of each other. What do you guys say on this matchup? True that. True that. And we were just talking about Artem earlier, and definitely somebody to prove people against. And Buster definitely proved why he wanted to go forward in this tournament. Yeah, right there. And that's what we'll also continue to talk about him later when we get to the next set of rounds. And Big Bad Baby Daddy, this is the next first round matchup. Ivy Lowe versus Buck Norris. And this was a hell of a matchup as well. One match that we never thought we needed, but we wanted. I would love to see them run it back. And Buck Norris walked out victorious, advancing to the second round. Big Bad Baby Daddy, what do you got to say? Yeah. It literally was. It literally was. Well said. No, you're not wrong. And Mighty, you want to speak on this matchup? This was the match of the Baldies, as you stated, but a hell of a matchup. Okay. Well said. Most indeed. I want to see them run it back. I would love to see a run back in the future. And now that also leads us on to our next matchup. Next first round matchup, Ali, Big Bad Baby Daddy. I'm going to start with you for this one, of course. The Savage one, John Robb, took on Mr. Patterson, and both men are brutes in their own ways, and they definitely took it to the top. And I would love to see them run it back as well. And Mr. Patterson walked out victorious. What do you got to say? So John Robb is a member of the Red Wolves, and he's called the Savage. Mr. Patterson is basically a version of the Three Faces of Foley. Well, there's DMP, there's Mr. Patterson, and there's Emberkind. Well said. But I also do want to speak on what you said. It's not really him switching up his gimmick. Those are actually his brothers. Yeah. Right. I see what you were getting at though, but I did want to say they are all brothers. So Emberkind, Mr. Patterson, DMP, they're all brothers. DMP DMP is basically the Cactus Jack. Emberkind is basically a more psychotic is basically like Mankind, and Mr. Patterson is more hardcore version of Dude Love, I'll say. Yeah. Yes, yes. But Mr. Mighty, what do you got to say on this contest? That is true. Yeah. Most agreed. I would love that. Heck yeah. Well said, Bossman. Well said. And they both moved on, and we'll talk about that later, as you said, and you'll see what match they were put into, which was very unique. And that leads us on to the Nightmare Dex Michaels, who faced Amen in his debut, taking on Deuce Sparks. And Deuce Sparks looking to get back into IWA feel of things, win this tournament all the way. Dex Michaels hella determined after his match with Amen. And in the end, Dex Michaels walked out victorious, and Big Bad Baby Daddy, we'll start with you since you said you recruited Dex. Yep. Yeah, well said. Short and simple. Mighty, you want to speak on this one? No, oh, oh my God. Oh, my- oh, oh, now he's saying it's laced. Oh boy. Well, because remember, the winner that gets the legacy title will be dealing with Mighty, is what was already stated. Well, how about this? How about this? Say that Big Bad Baby Daddy does win, and he faces you, Mighty, and he beats you. He gets to have the drug test. But say that he doesn't win this match against Leo and VJ, he has to get drug tested. How about that? Oh, Damn, damn. Down to the no baby mama, no switching out the piss secretly. Oh boy. What is your problem with blind people? No, don't hurt the physically disabled with your words, Ollie. That's hurtful. So I think the just that we should take away from this is that Ali has a thing against blind people. Bro, it's right there. What you can't put. Damn. He's making fun of the physically disabled. This ain't cool, man. I thought we had policies against this. That hustle and money championship got to his head. He did a lot of hustling for that money, man. Yeah. No. Look, man, he hangs out with Uncle Ruckus from the Boondocks all the time, man. So I'm telling you, they're good Samaritans. Yeah, he's got a seeing eye bear though. Called JB. He's his gay seeing eye bear. It's GB. GB. Don't you notice how GB's always shaking his head? That's his seeing eye bear. Yeah. Everybody has a seeing eye dog. Why can't he have a seeing eye bear? And by the way, the bear's gay. Huh? Okay, have you never noticed GB shaking his head to Blind Man at all? When Blind Man's talking and GB's shaking his head, what did you think that was? That's the gay bear. That's GB. He shakes his head because he knows Blind Man what he's saying is really off the wall, back crap crazy sometimes. Oh god. Oh no, that's the wrong channel for this. Let's just let's move on before this conversation gets. We're gonna move on to the last first round matchup. Okay, moving on. In the last first round matchup, Mike Howard versus Lionheart. Both men put up a spectacular matchup. Congrats to both individuals. And in the end, Mike Howard walked out victorious. And Big Bad Baby Daddy, you brought in Mike Howard as well, if I recall. Uh, I, I think it's because he stole it from Chris Jericho. Because remember, Chris Jericho went by Lionheart, so he's like, "No, I'm the Lionheart." Then he loses. Yeah, I'm not kidding you. Literally, and WCW and I think it was actually ECW in Japan. Lionheart. Yeah. So right there, Lionheart. But Mighty, do you want to speak on this last first round matchup before we go on to the third and final show? Oh no. He has to go. Okay. Well said. Okay, besides the drug test, what about the match? Okay. Yeah, right there, and maybe. Yeah. Okay. Most indeed, and Mike Howard moved on, and we're going to be talking about him for this next show. This is the last show we're going to go over before we get off here, but we're going to start with the non-tournament matches, of course, and it was for the Northern Continental Championship defended in a fatal five-way, as it was Amen versus Primetime JoJo versus Sinister versus Carino versus the champion Tony Rose. Five great athletes going out there to put on a show for the belt, and they definitely delivered. And we have a new champion in Sinister. What do you got to say about this development? Oh, yeah. And right there, you had 5 impressive athletes in there go in there, and it could have gone either way, but Sinister definitely was a force to be reckoned with, and I'm interested to see who attacked him and who will be coming out soon, like you said. And Big Bad Baby Daddy, are you still with us? Yeah, yeah, take your time. We'll go on to the next one. Hell of a banger. But now for the IWA Do or Die Championship, we had Machete versus the champion Big Lou. And in the end, we were crowned a new champion, but I will not take anything from Big Lou. Big Lou was a fighting champion, but Machete definitely was a dark horse in this matchup, but definitely proved why he wanted the title. You want to speak on this, Mighty? Most indeed. Yep. And I can't wait to see what he does with that championship that has so much prestige as we were talking about way earlier in the match, in the night as we started this live. Like the prestige that that do or die has, there's a long prestige to it. Indeed. And great matchup, and that led us on to our IWA Prestige Women's World Championship matchup as it was Quinn Kushida versus the champion Mother Russia without a third person. This was just one on one now, and this was an excellent contest. Two hard hitting ladies that are not afraid to get down and dirty. And in the end, it was Quinn Kushida walking out the champion. What do you got to say? That's true. And who knows, maybe Leo might do that with the Leo Blade Invitational coming up right there. So big things to come. Stay tuned for the Leo Blade Invitational, everybody. Stay tuned. And that leads us on to the rest of our tournament. And in this one, the first tournament matchup was the King of Chaos West Grimm versus the Rough and the Tough Buster Anderson, and that was a hell of a contest right there between both competitors. Both competitors won it, but in the end, one wanted it more, and that was West Grimm. What do you got to say about that? Yes, yeah, indeed. And when we get there, before we get there, we already know that the Savage John Robb and Mr. Patterson both advanced after getting a double countout. They were put in a triple threat match situation, which James Smith, he already won a triple threat, and now he was put into a second one, and all three men put on a banger, but James Smith a second triple threat match on the next show. So right there, he kind of has like an up edge. He's beating two people at once each time. But could he have done that in the next round, which we shall get to here soon? But you want to speak on this? Yeah, well said. Yeah. And he advanced to that next round, which we shall get to here soon. Hell of a contest between all three men, and that led us to Ricky Baz versus the Nightmare Dex Michaels. And both men put on a spectacular, and this was also another hard hitting matchup where Dex Michaels walked out victorious. What do you guys say about that? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, most indeed. And we do see Dex later on, but this next one was Fuck Norris versus Mike Howard. Now, last time we talked about fuck in the last round, we were talking about how experience outlasts. You can't be experienced. Now, fuck came in with the experience. Mike came in looking to prove himself more, and both men put on a hell of a showing. But this time, the rookie beat the veteran in fuck Norris, advancing to the next round. What do you got to say? Okay, exactly. Most indeed. And this new man, Mike Howard, has been talking a lot lately in the chat, which we shall get to here soon and explain why. But yes, nothing taken away from fuck Norris. Everybody in this tournament has put on a hell of a showing and has nothing to be ashamed of. And that led us on. What I like about these next matches, so this next one had two guys that have been in IWA for some time, Wes Grimm and James Smith. Then the match after that, Mike Howard versus Dex Michaels, which we'll get to. But the King of Chaos, Wes Grimm versus James Smith, and it was a hell of a contest. Both men wanted to advance to the finals, but it was Wes Grimm advancing to the finals. What do you got to say? I No, no. What were you gonna say? Sorry, sorry. Oh. I see what you're saying, and I'm also personally I'm shocked at the fact that Wes would even doubt his abilities because most of the time I've ever seen him, he's always been okay, man. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna go do what I do best, and I don't see Wes Grimm as a person to do that, but he has done that lately. So that kind of makes me almost wonder if he like maybe you're right. Maybe he did duke us all on this, but at the same time, I don't know. It's just like it's a different side of Wes Grimm I'm not used to seeing. Like I said, I usually see him go out there. Okay, I'm gonna go get down to business. I'm not gonna like he never really doubts himself, but as you stated, he has now. So it's just kind of like maybe this is something different, and who knows what this will do for him going forward in the future. You know? Hmm. Yes, most indeed. Oh no, no, no. And I believe James Smith is known as the phenomenal one that he likes to call himself. Yeah, yeah. 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 Exactly. As I say, none of the men that either lost or won have nothing to be ashamed of in this tournament. This was a hell of a tournament, and we are almost to the finals as we are at the final semi-final matchup right before the finals, and it was Mike Howard versus Dex Michaels, two rookies here in IWA looking to make statements, and both them have in this tournament respectively. And in the end, it was Mike Howard advancing to the finals. What do you gotta say about that? Mm, yeah. Yeah, yeah, I see. Okay. And we all saw what happened then. Mike advanced, and now it's time that we can talk about it more with Mike Howard. He took on the King of Chaos, Wes Grimm, and this could have gone either way. Wes Grimm looking like he was going to have this newfound glory, but Mike Howard walked out the winner, victorious right there. What do you got to say? He won the whole tournament. Yeah, maybe he was trying to give Wes Grimm a good deal if he let him win. He's like, okay, I'll give you this deal. Yeah, that's not me. That's probably Ali, I think. It's his fail. Well, we're at the end of the live anyway, so We hope you have a great one, Big Bad Baby Daddy. Thanks for coming on. Well, now we are at the final stages, brother. As you were saying, you said the hourglass was put out on West, but now this gives Mike Howard. He's been going at it with KD and voice of words. Do you think he's getting into the head of KD, or do you think what do you think about this whole scenario so far? Yeah, yeah, and who knows? Like you were saying, the buddy buddy. Do you think maybe Dex might cost him this title match and get involved? Well said. Yeah. And you recently, it looked like it was made a submission match between the two, right? And will that affect the other two matches that it looked like you had Katie booked in? It looked like you had him in a 30-minute Iron Man against Buster and then a Lumberjack 2 out of 3 against Harnage, I believe. No. Was that not okay? Okay. Understood. Okay. So that's what that is. Okay. Stay tuned for that, everybody. And we did go over all 3 shows. We needed to, and you guys heard it. We have Highway to Heaven coming. We have the Leo Blade Invitational. We have the draft coming. Go check out the recent IWA shows if you haven't. And before we do get off here, Mighty, do you want to shout out the podcast that you will be on tomorrow with Dimebag? Oh, oh, damn! Just saying it bluntly. Yes. Yes. Heard it there, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for all the good things coming in IWA, and this is where we're gonna end the live. And we hope everybody has a great day, good night, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever y'all may be. Peace out.